Hi, I'm Marco, and if you drop by here often, you know I love cool AI tools. That means I've already tried out quite a few things to show you here on this channel. And no matter which tool I've tested, I've always noticed something. When you deal with creative AI, there are ultimately two extremes. Either I go for a very, very powerful program like Photoshop. It now has AI functionalities built in. I've even programmed a few plugins for it myself. However, it also comes with a ton of other stuff that most people who just want to generate AI images don't really need. Plus, it always seems to take forever until new AI features become available in Photoshop. And on the other hand, there are all these cool AI tools, which usually show up as websites that you absolutely have to try out. Pretty quickly, you're not just in one subscription model, but if you want to test everything, you end up with 2, 3, 4 subscriptions, each with their own credits that expire at the end of the month and so on. And who really wants to work on a website in their creative workflow? Well, I don't. Personally, I much prefer proper desktop software like Photoshop. I didn't want to keep accepting this problem, so I started programming my own AI software. That's right, I'm building AI software that actually works for me. So I sat down and asked myself, okay, what does software like this actually need? Okay, obviously it has to be easy to use. I demand platform independence. That means I don't want to be tied to credit systems if possible. Third, it needs to be flexibly expandable and stay up to date with the times. Well, it's my own software that I programmed myself. That means I have maximum control over the range of features, when which function becomes available, and so on. I'm just taking this into my own hands now. But enough talk, it's time for us to take a look at this software now. At first glance, it all looks pretty familiar. I can now choose one of several different aspect ratios and give my project a name. Demo 1. So now I have created a new project. However, I can always switch between the projects I have in the software using the side tab. Next, it is logically very important for such AI software to have some kind of prompt input. But I also want to choose a model. For the demo version, I came up with something really clever. I simply created a model myself, or rather, faked one so that you can test it right away. This is just a text-to-cat demo. Now I'm going to select it here as the model. I select the text-to-cat demo, click into this prompt area, and type nice cat. Although this text is currently ignored, but I click on generate and bam, I have generated a cat. What you can also see right away is that I have layer management. So layers, like you know from Photoshop, for example, you can show and hide the layers. And with this generative selection tool, I now have the option to simply select an area, fire off my prompt again, and at that spot, generate a second cat. You probably know this from Photoshop. The V key is the selection tool. Accordingly, I can now freely place my cats here and again, show or hide them as I like. I also have the option here to display the prompt and the model I just used, what I just generated. After I've moved a few things around here, of course, I can also select them again and, for example, reset their position. All in all, there is now, first of all, the generation tool, which is this green selection, a move tool, which is for moving things, then a zoom tool, with which I can zoom to 100%, fit to screen, zoom in and out, and so on. And the whole thing also works with a right click of the mouse. Now you might say, okay, generating these cats isn't exactly what I imagine a piece of AI software to do. That's why I'd like to introduce you to point 2 on my list of priorities, which is independence from service providers. I've integrated a settings section up here where you can now configure different service providers. My demo service provider text2cat is it's always available here and I can turn it on and off. But what I especially want to show you now is how I set up an alternative AI here. One of the currently available service providers is Fall, and to use Fall, you have to generate an API key on the Fall website. Ultimately, it's simply a platform that provides AI models for execution. As a user, I now have an API key here that I can generate for myself. I've topped up my account here with dollars. The nice thing about it is that this is my own money that I've loaded onto the account. It doesn't expire automatically. That means I only pay whenever I generate an image. And that's a very, very clear advantage over other subscription models where I have credits and those credits expire even if I haven't used them. Beyond that, Fall AI offers a whole range of different AI models that can be integrated. I've limited myself to just a few, but I'd like to show them to you now. For that, I'll go into this section here and first generate myself a demo API key. There we go, it's completely valid here. I will now copy it to my clipboard and then I can easily paste it right here and simply click the Save button. Once I've configured Fall AI here, additional models become available to me from that point on. For example, a text to image or an image to image section now appears here under the model selection. That means I can now select FluxDev first, type in nice sport car and generate. Now full AI is being used in the background, running the Flux model to generate an image here based on my selection. I'll just do it again. I have my selection here once more and I'll generate a second one. And so you believe me that this whole selection is also sensitive. I have no idea. I'll generate a third one here as well, but this time sensitive to the selection. That means I've now generated a third one here. I can also make it bigger or smaller, and I can also delete this layer again because ultimately, let's just focus on these. What's really trending right now is editing images with prompts. NanoBanana, Flux Context, or Seedream. These are AIs that I definitely wanted to integrate in the first version. In the end, I am carefully and precisely selecting the NanoBanana here, meticulously drawing a detailed and accurate selection for the artificial intelligence to process. And now, as you have become accustomed to and expect, I can simply and effortlessly run the powerful Make It Green function. At this very moment, in this specific scenario, a comprehensive and refined NanoBanana edit is actively being generated and created by the system, ensuring a high-quality outcome. I'm not using up any credits, but I'm using actual real money. What this costs in detail is usually much cheaper because I'm purchasing my AI generation directly from the service provider, but we'll take a quick look at that in a moment. Yeah, and then as you probably already know, I'm not really pretending anything particularly new here or showing you anything that is truly groundbreaking, but just like you're quite used to, I've simply and effectively recolored this particular car from a vibrant red to a distinct green in my very own software application. Now I can also just select everything again. In this case, I'll just use the Flux context model, or let's take Seedream, make a night scene, and fire the whole thing up. Here, once again, Fall AI is being used in the background to edit this image and turn it into a night scene. And this way, I can actually achieve results very, very quickly and flexibly with the different AI models. Let me take a look at the before and after. That means we went from nothing to creating this image, then simply made it green with NanoBanana, and now once again turned the whole thing into a night scene with Seedream. Yes, that's how easy AI image editing can really be. If you were paying attention, you'll also notice that I have the option here to enter an OpenAI key. Then under text to image, DALL-E 2 and DALL-E 3 also appear here. So I've already integrated two AI service providers, allowing you to simply select between them in this dropdown and then use the right AI for the right application. But often you want to edit your own images. Of course, what you can't do without is the ability to import an image. Now I'll just casually select the reingenerdet studio logo here. Boom, I've just brought it onto my stage here using the import function. I can move and place it just like I'm used to with my other generated images. I can also see here in my layer view that I have an imported image in a certain size. Yeah, I can show and hide it just like you'd expect. And now I just want to carefully edit it with, say, the fantastic NanoBanana application and then make a really cool comic book version of this particular logo. And now let's use NanoBanana again and just edit the studio logo. So you can see that it really works here. Boom. Doesn't look too bad at all. The result is, as expected, NanoBanana did a good job here. Yeah, that's what it looks like. Now let's quickly take a look together at what these few actions actually cost. For that, I'll just go to 4D AI again and open usage and billing. Here you get a pretty clear breakdown of what the whole thing actually cost. Yeah, today using this tool with AI cost me 22 cents. That breaks down as follows. I edited images twice with NanoBanana. You can see it here. And this image editing, yeah, it cost about 4 cents, or rather $4, which is a bit less than a euro cent. I generated 3 images with Flux. That's 2.5 cents for 3 images. That's totally reasonable, no problem at all. I used Flux context. Yeah, I didn't show that in the video, but I spent 4 cents on Flux context. And right, with Seedream, you remember I created that night scene. The night scene cost 3 cents. And I think that's really the charming thing about this solution, because the money I've loaded onto my account here doesn't just expire. I don't have a $10 subscription with some platform. Instead, I currently have these $16.80 in my account. I top that up just one single time and it simply stays there, remaining available and only truly getting used up when I actively utilize reingenerdet Studio to generate various images. If you now feel like trying out reingenerdet Studio for yourself, I've prepared something really special for you. On the website reingenerdet.studio, you'll find all the information about the software again. At the same time, there's also an online demo available here. If you click on it, you'll be redirected to a demo version of my software that works in your browser without any installation. This demo version is a bit stripped down, but all the information about it is provided here on this welcome screen. Of course, in this demo, you can't enter your own API keys. That feature is disabled here. But what you can definitely do is use my fake model, text2cat, just like I showed at the beginning of the video, to generate cat images here. I think that's enough to give you a first impression of my software. But now, are you excited to really get started with reingenerdet Studio? That is, with my software, and your API keys, generate AI things, get to know a new tool, and help shape it. That's why I specifically developed the Early Access program for this. The Early Access program comes with a monthly fee. However, this fee is currently still very low. That's why I've initially limited the whole thing to just 50 spots. To participate, you need to toss at least €3 into my virtual hat. Of course, I would be very happy if you choose to give more voluntarily. As soon as you activate your support, you'll receive an email with all the further information. It looks like this. This email also includes a license key, but we'll get back to that in just a moment. At the moment, I'm offering the whole thing for Apple Intel, Apple Silicon, that is the M1 through M4 processors. There's also a file for Linux, both a DEB and an RPM file for Linux. And of course, there's also an XE for the Windows users among you. So you can download the version that fits your operating system and get started right away. You'll also find your license key here again. You'll be able to use this in one of the next versions of reingenerdet Studio to unlock additional features. But that's coming later. The good thing about this license key, though, is that if you decide to support me at this very early stage of my software development, I definitely want to thank you for that. That's why this license key is guaranteed to remain valid as long as you keep your support active. That means I won't take it away from you at some point when the early access phase is over. The prices for my software will definitely go up, but as long as you keep your support active, this license key will remain valid for you. And you'll always have access to all features at the currently available low introductory price. I hope I've managed to get you a little excited to join me on this journey with my new software. And above all, I'm really interested in your feedback. So if you have a spontaneous idea for a feature that absolutely needs to be included in my software, just let me know in the comments here. I'm also excited to build a community around this software together with you. That's why I've set up a Discord server. There's not much going on there at the moment. That means any feature requests you submit through this channel definitely won't be overlooked right now. So I'm really happy if you're genuinely interested in supporting me. If you join my Discord server, we might be able to talk much more directly about the features there. Finally, I have to tell you, you should definitely turn on the bell or subscribe to my channel here if you haven't already done so. Because in the next few days, I'll be introducing more features for reingenerdet Studio. They're not included in this version yet. They're currently in development. Very soon, there will definitely be another batch of cool things I've added. So it's definitely worth sticking around and checking back in from time to time. I'm really looking forward to having a great time together with all of you. Until then, all the best. Your Marco.